Hey guys, what's up? We gotta talk all about The Flash, so just careful for spoilers from the episode if you haven't seen it yet. Oh my god, future Flash costume. I know it's not the blue Flash, but they're still leaving the door open for some interesting twists with Savitar. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get everything. I do Marvel and DC videos every week. There's a Flash ring giveaway going on right now that I'll explain at the end of the video. I know everybody's wondering about the show going on break. What's happening is they're coming back at the end of April. If you remember last year, they went on break. I think it was during March. It was just earlier in the year. It was the same break. So it is a bummer, but I'll be doing bonus videos, so no worries. But top 10 WTF and comic book Easter eggs. So start with number 10. Welcome to Abracadabra. So he debuted back in 1962. He was created by Carmine Infantino, who created most of the Flash Rogues gallery, at least all the classic rogues that you guys are familiar with. But the big twist, is Gypsy sort of explains later in the episode, is that he's someone from the future with like crazy technology that just makes it look like he can perform magic. So in the future, what happens is they have a time machine, but nobody is impressed by magic. It's all a world of science. It's so boring. So he's like, I want to perform. So he steals the time machine, comes back into the past so that he has a crowd to appreciate him. And he starts using his technology to commit crimes, which is where the Flash comes in. And that's how they become enemies. But the thing is he is the current record holder from furthest person in the future to travel back. So Eobard Thawne is from the 25th century, he's from the 64th century, so however advanced you think the Reverse Flash's technology is, he has stuff that's way cooler, but most of it's stuck in the future. He doesn't have that much stuff with him. The way they explain it is that it's just nanotechnology built into his body, and that's how it looks like he's performing all those crazy magic tricks. But number 9, welcome back to Stag Industries. We haven't been there since season 1, I think. I can't remember any time the last couple seasons besides that second episode where they name dropped them. And that was when the Reverse Flash killed Simon Stagg because he was going to try and take Barry Allen for himself. The introduction's an Easter egg for the Houdini water tank effect. You know, most of the times you see that pop up in movies and TV shows, somebody dies trying to attempt it just because it's so deadly. So the fact these two people died isn't that unusual, but Barry's doing actual CSI work. We learn a little bit about where everyone's relationships are, like Cisco's super hyped up about Gypsy, Julian and Caitlin are kind of cooled off, but then Barry finally runs into Abracadabra himself. Surprise, surprise, they're at Cord Industries. We haven't seen them since they've been on Arrow. They use them on Arrow as sort of like the default go-to thing that Damien Dark would steal weapons from. Ted Kord is like this big character. He was originally supposed to be who Brandon Routh's character was, but DC was like, nope, you can't use him. So Ted Kord is now just like this faceless person in the DC universe. In number 8, the carrot gets dangled 15 minutes into the episode. Did not take long. I know everything about you. I'm from the future. I know all about Savitar. So it lays that seed in Barry's head. Is he going to take the bait and let him go if he can get information on Savitar? What kind of a hero is he going to be? He's still trying to live down Flashpoint. They even talked about it during the musical episode. Like he sang a song where he's like, yeah, I'm not supposed to go back in time anymore. But the whole thing about this episode is they were hyping it up is that they were going to reveal the identity of Savitar. He knows he's going to tell somebody. Someone's going to find out before another member of the group. So that's why I was so happy when Joe was the one to go in. Because it's always fun to watch him go hardcore because he's like Mr. Nice Dad. So he goes crazy when he goes off the chain. Like in season 2 when he was punching Harrison Wells. But number 7, we learn why he's come to Star Labs. He's looking for something that the Reverse Flash has to build a time machine. What else do you wonder is in there? Because Team Flash didn't seem like they knew about that. Otherwise, they probably would have picked that clean. Julian drops a Monty Python reference. When Caitlin's treating him, they slowly start coming back together. And even though Barry almost gets the save, I chalk it up as a win for Cisco's panic button system. I thought that was a throwaway joke at the beginning of the season, but it's come in handy a couple times this year. And really, I think the whole point behind that is just to address the logic issue of people having cell phones. That's usually a big problem for stories, because if you were like walking alone in a horror film and someone was tailing you, wouldn't you just call 911? You know, like, why do people always get caught off guard in that way? Number 6, we learn Gypsy is pissed at the idea of not taking him right back to Earth 19 to face the death sentence. She really wants to chop his head off. It's crazy, and it takes most of the episode to find out why, but she just has a really personal stake in it, just like everybody else, and they wanted to do that just so that you wouldn't demonize Gypsy or you wouldn't demonize Joe, because you care about Iris West, you don't want her to die. Maybe you feel like Gypsy was justified in wanting revenge and justice for all the people that he killed, including her former boyfriend and partner, someone that she was really close to. But number 5, Abracadabra starts talking about Savitar, and it confirms some of the things that Jay Garrick said. The biggest thing being that he was the first person that was granted speed. So when Jay Garrick was explaining it, they had this actor here who just looked completely jacked. You know, you're not meant to see his face, just that he looked like he was really buff when the Philosopher's Stone was giving him his speed. So I know a lot of people want to believe the Barry as Savitar theory, that the future Flash is Savitar. He becomes the future Flash because the costume does look kind of blue, like the blue Flash costume of the future. And the other future Flash costume that we saw at the end of the episode looks kind of like the new 52 version of the red costume. So it's like, oh, you know, maybe they're doing a version of that storyline. So there are a lot of details and seeming coincidences that seem to point towards Barry Savitar things, but it's not confirmation or anything like that. This person that Savitar is seems like a completely different person unless they're lying to us. So you guys can let me know, in the Savitar flashback where Jay Garrick's talking about him, do you think that this person is actually Savitar, or do you think it's just his idea of Savitar and he's never seen him as a human, so the show was just presenting us with false information? Because false narration is a big thing on TV now. Mr. Robot does that all the time, where you see it from Elliot's perspective, but because he's so messed up in the head, he doesn't know what reality is, so what we're seeing is not reality. So whatever your Savitar theories are, they're still wide open. And then there's the idea that HR was just mysteriously gone for no reason for 2 days. He said he was with a woman, but he's a really fast talker, so that could be misdirection. So HR, whereabouts unknown. But number 4, Joe goes off the chain. You tell me, I'll let you go. I will kill you if you try to move. And he does actually try to kill him later in the episode. That's how hardcore Joe is. Oh, I've changed the terms of our agreement. Seems like you have as well. But even though the show kind of wants you to feel like Joe isn't thinking clearly because he's so worried about Iris, I didn't really feel that remorseful about what he did. I mean, I would have done the same thing in his position too. So it's not like you feel bad about Joe. You feel more bad about what Gypsy's doing, even though she's probably more justified. You care more about the Team Flash characters. So you guys can let me know, which side did you come down on? Team Flash, Civil War, Team Gypsy, or Team Joe West? But he gets away, builds his time machine. It looks a little bit like the comic book version of the time machine. I mean, it was done back in 1968, so the drawings were way more primitive, but it's just the idea that he had a time machine that got him to the past. He's rebuilding one to get him back to the future, so it was an Easter egg for that. But number 3, Team Flash rolls out en masse to chase him down. You have Wally, Barry, Cisco, and Gypsy. You shall not pass. Nice Lord of the Rings reference. Barry looks like he's gone faster than he's ever gone and phases him out, so it was a really badass save on his part. It's just a way to show you that he still has the A game of anyone on Team Flash, any of the speedsters, no matter what they've done. Wally's done some cool stuff. Barry is still the fastest, most skilled version of the Flash that they have when Jay Garrick isn't around. Jay Garrick has more skills, but he's not quite as fast as Barry. But Barry's big takeaway from the whole thing is that, hey, the villains, they always know more about us, so I'm gonna go to the future. So I'll talk about that in my next video because there is a new character that they cast for the future part of the storyline. So I'll explain that whenever I post. So number 2 though, Caitlin gets operated on hardcore while she's awake, helping Julian operate on her. But surprise, surprise, blame the lime jello, blame whatever you want. She goes into cardiac arrest, and whatever it is that happens inside of her, it triggers her to go full-blown Killer Frost. So this is what she's gonna look like, presumably for the rest of the season, maybe even into season 4, depending on which direction her character takes, because she comes out of there seeming pretty evil. But I love the makeup job, and it actually doesn't look that invasive, so if they were to do a full season of her as Killer Frost, it doesn't seem like it would be that much harder from a production perspective. They even mentioned the Thinker as one of the future big Flash villains, so he might come into play in season 4. Maybe we'll get some Easter eggs for him later in the season. But he's just another big Flash villain from the Golden Age. He goes all the way back, but there have been a couple different versions of the character. So if it seems like they're going to do him, I'll totally do a video about it. But number 1 big thing is we saw Barry in the future, seeing the future version of himself in the new costume. So everybody was wondering, when are we going to get a new costume? Grant Gustin even tweeted this way earlier this year. It's about time Barry got a new costume. So this is where that comes in. But I think what's going on here is that they're taking more inspiration from the lightning curves that go all over his body in the comic book. So it's a little more comic book accurate. But let me know, what do you think about the future Flash costume? What do you think about the Abracadabra twist? They were hyping up that they were going to reveal who Savitar was, so I was a little disappointed that they pulled the rug out from under us. but Barry is just going to try to find out one more way. So all of the cast keeps saying that we're going to be completely surprised with who it is. So I know there are a couple really big theories. There's the Barry theory, there's the HR theory, there's the theory that it's somebody that we've never seen before, someone that's not on Team Flash, but it will be a familiar face. So what'll happen next is I'll post that Flash trailer video tomorrow. There'll be some new Spider-Man Homecoming, and you guys can let me know in the comments what bonus videos do you want me to do during the break while we wait for Flash to come back. So congratulations to this week's giveaway winner, Toaster. You win one of the Flash rings. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. There was a new round that started in this video. I'll announce the winner when I post that trailer video tomorrow. While you wait for that, click here to learn about the Reverse Flash Easter egg in the Justice League trailer, and you click here for the Spider-Man trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Let's high five. I'll see you guys in the next video.